Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So today I'll be taking you guys through the paintwork on this Audi A4. We're not going to get too involved in the prep work, but as you can see there, that's the car before I started working on it. I obviously blocked all those primed areas down, prepped the blends up, whacked it in the booth. I'll give it a quick mask up with then wax and grease remover and paint some shit. I decided to do something a little bit different with this video. A lot of the time when I narrate videos, I get a little bit too particular, and it can be just a pain in the ass even getting motivated to do the narration, because I'll sit there and I'll say, oh, I'm not happy with what I said there, I didn't say that correctly. I'll go and chop and change it. So I thought we'd do something a little bit more relaxed where I can just sit down in front of the camera and see what happens, see how we go from here. So obviously I've just finished my masking up, and I did include a little bit of that footage with that Colad blade because they are totally awesome. Like I make them last for a long time and really quick to mask areas up. You know, as you can see there, you just slice it out so quickly. And they do stay sharp for quite some time. Wipe the entire thing down with some wax and grease remover. That's a blue cloth that you see me using as well. They're the DuPont Sontara wipes. And then also these are DuPont Sontara tack cloths too. So gave it a good tack down while I was blowing the air over it to remove any little bits of lint and dust that may be left behind. And what I'm using here is some DuPont 222S. So it's a really awesome product. It's actually designed as an adhesion promoter. But back in the day, primarily it was used for, say, new panels. If you got like a new bonnet or a new boot, trunk, hood, whatever you Americans call it, you would be able to no prep work on the inside of your panels and just paint straight over as long as you put that 222S down. But what we found out was it's actually really good for a wet bed or a blending aid, blending clear, whatever you like to call it. So it works good for blends, and it also seals down. There's a couple of spots on these panels that I'd cut through. So when you cut through, and I'm using solvent base, sometimes when you cut through you can get little bits of shrink back. You might come in the next day and it'll shrink back, or after a bake or something, and it'll shrink back on you. Whereas if you put this stuff down and it literally takes a minute, 2 minutes to dry, it just greatly reduces the risk of having any fry ups or shrink back. Obviously you're not going to have that issue when you're spraying waterborne paints, but there's obviously going to be some other possible issues coming up. I personally these days I prefer spraying solvent. I've been back in this shop for probably 6 months now, and there's only been 1 or 2 times where I thought to myself, geez, I would have really liked to have sprayed some water, because mainly coverage, that's the main issues that you'll have, but it's fairly uncommon, you know. Anyway, going through the job, I'm using the Segola 4600 Extreme, the digital version, and I've got the 1.3mm on it and the Aqua air cap. Been really happy with the way this gun's been spraying. I've still been using it for base coat just about the entire time since I've had it, to be honest. A lot of the time when I get a new gun I'll end up going back to my Vilbers, but I've still been pretty happy with the way this thing's been performing. So I put 3 coats of base coat on. Obviously gave it a minute or so in between coats. What I do in between coats, I just get the air out of the spray gun and just sort of blow it over the panel, blow it over that base coat. Not too much pressure, just the same pressure as what I'm using when I'm painting. I don't crank the pressure up because that can sort of lead to bits of dust and crap floating around the booth. So just a standard amount of pressure. I've obviously got the heat on in the spray booth as well. It's not an overly cold day. I think it was about 25 degrees. Although when it did come to clear coat, I did heat the clear up a little bit. That's something I've been doing a bit lately. It is cooling down, as I say, like 25 Celsius. It's not cold, but I like to get that clear sort of 30-35 degrees, get it flashing off nice and quick. So as you'll see when I'm clear coating, I've left the entire clip as one, so there's no flash off time. So I went and I painted the quarter panel and the door, and went over and did the the petrol flap and the moulding, then came straight back to the quarter panel and door again with very minimal flash off. But heating that clear up definitely helps. I used 200 mils of colour for this job, so I mixed up 200 mils. That gets thinned down to about 300 mils, so 300 mils ready for use. And then I mixed up around 400 for clear coat, and I think I was left I was left with about 50, under 50 mils when I finished painting it, so about 350 for the clear coat. So it's an MS clear that I'm using on this job. It's just a Duke Zone Plus 2K clear, just a bit of fast hardener, and as I said, I heated it up. You can get some really nice results out of it. Look, it's not the best clear on the market, but it's fine just for everyday cars. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of the time, like on the newer cars and the upper class cars, will use the standard clear. It's just this, you know, this car here is getting a bit older. It's just a, you know, mid-2000s Audi or something like that. I'm happy to put this kind of clear on it, and it saves the boss a couple of bucks. At the end of the day, this is insurance work anyway, so we don't get paid big dollars for each job. So if we can save a couple of bucks here and there, then good on us. So I'm using the Devilbus GTI Pro Lite. Obviously, been really happy with this gun for years. This is the Nebula version, but it's the same as all the other ones. It should be exactly the same as your Techno Pro lights in the USA as well. But it's a 21.3mm, and yeah, as you can see, beautiful fan on it. Running it at 2 bar pressure, which is pretty standard for me these days. I used to run my pressure a fair bit lower, but these days, yeah, cranking it up to 2 bar. And I was explaining to Moses, my apprentice, the other day. I took him in the booth. I'd finished base coating a job. Took him in there. I said, "Clear this for us," you know. And he goes, "You clear it." And I said, "All right, you do the tailgate. You watch me doing the quarter panels, and you do the tailgate." And he's been spending a little bit of time with the other guy, like the older guy that works with this. He's like 55 or 60 or something, and he's sort of changed his painting style a little bit, and he's got him to drop the pressure down a touch, down to I think 1.8 or something like that bar. And what I was explaining to him, I said, I used to think that spraying at low pressure was better as well, and I used to think that you'd save paint doing it that way, because it looks like where I'm spraying here, it looks like there's a lot of overspray going out and a lot of paint that's not hitting the panel. But what having the higher pressure enables you to do is move that a lot quicker. So when the paint's coming out quicker, you can get your gun closer and you can just move that lot quicker. And with the lower pressure, you're going to be taking a lot longer every pass to get that paint on. So look, that's about it for this video. Well, that was easy for me. Yeah, let us know what you guys thought of that video. I do apologise that there's no ending on this. The car is literally still sitting in the booth. I just felt like making a video as much as anything, just to say hi to my subscribers. And I know that you guys, if I go for a couple of weeks without editing a video, you're like, hey, where's Gunny gone? So I just thought I'd do a bit of a quick update video. Sit back, watch me paint some shit and talk a bit of shit. Thanks a lot for watching, Gunners, and I'll see you in the next one. Gunman out.